Hello, and thanks for joining us on Movie Night Memories. You must remember this, a podcast that focuses on movies and our favorite memories of them. Each week we discuss the films that are celebrating an anniversary from when they came out in theaters. My name is Sword Alexander, and I'm joined by the inspiration of this podcast, my mom, Tracey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome back. And I want to shout out an early birthday to my mom. She is going to have a birthday on May 24th. And we're celebrating the movies that came out between May 18th and May 24th.
Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Yep, another time around the sun.
And we have some exciting movies to talk about that came out on your birthday, and some pretty good stories from some birthday celebrations of going to the movies too. Can't wait to talk about them. This week, like I said, we're talking about the movies released between May 18th and May 24th. We're going to be talking about The Return of the Pink Panther, The Empire Strikes Back, Hot Shots Part Deux, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Far and Away, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, The Shining, Bruce Almighty, Only the Lonely, Thelma and Louise, and Braveheart. God, talk about a big list of big films.
I agree. And movies are always a big week. During this week. It's right before Memorial Weekend. A Rush song mentions my birthday on the 24th of May, fireworks display, because Queen Victoria's birthday is on my birthday.
Well, what do you know?
And they always celebrate in Canada May 24th. So that's a little trivia there.
Yes. So they're partially celebrating Queen Victoria's birthday.
Yes.
And they're partially celebrating yours without realizing it.
Exactly.
So this week we decided to take a look at a few films. We looked at Hot Shots Part Deux, Far and Away, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Only the Lonely, and Thelma and Louise. Needless to say, we really wanted to see these movies, so we took the time to see them this week. Last week we decided to take a week off break, not just to watch these movies, but to take a relaxing week off. This podcast is fun, but it can be a lot of work, and we decided to just take the week off and recuperate. So first up, we're going to be talking about The Empire Strikes Back, released May 21st, 1980, celebrating a 45th anniversary. While the Empire goes on the offensive to destroy the Rebel Alliance, Luke Skywalker trains with Jedi Master Yoda to become strong enough with the Force to face Darth Vader. So this film has obviously a lot of historical significance. I'm not really much of a Star Wars guy. I grew up more interested in Star Trek. And I think that just runs in the family, because as we've talked about, you and your family were so into Star Trek for such a long time.
Trekkies.
Yep, real Trekkies to the end of the day, to the point where my uncle, at the time, we compared him to Spock, because he's very emotionless and logical.
Well, yeah, Kenneth, you mean, that married my sister Roxy.
So, but I always kind of had an interest, a curiosity to Star Wars. Back in 2019, I decided to sit down and watch all the films, episodes 1 through 9, back to back to back. And I did like one night at a time, essentially, to see what I'm missing. So I also read a couple of books that talked about the historical significance of Star Wars. So I get more of it now than I did when I was younger, like really young, as in. And The Empire Strikes Back is a famous movie. You know, it comes with a famous "I'm your father" plot twist. So I really wanted to hear your experience getting to be part of that, because that was a huge film event. I mean, I believe it had to have been. So what is your experience with The Empire Strikes Back, if you have that many memories of it when it came out?
I remember it was a big deal, but I was not into Star Wars, so I didn't really care. But I remember I was in theater then. And so everybody was, dressing up and getting ready to go to see Empire Strikes Back, and putting their costumes on and going to the theater, and big lines, big, huge lines. And I was like yawning, saying, oh, another Star Wars movie. So, but that was me. I'm not a follower. I'm not a follower, as you noticed. So, just wasn't for me. But everybody was, oh my gosh, can't wait,
How do people, after the whole "I am your father" thing kind of came out, did people start parodying a lot and talking about it a lot?
And it was on all the talk shows, and you know, and the laser thing and
the lightsabers.
Yeah. It was everywhere, and I was yawning while everybody else was was excited, and but I'm not putting it down. I'm just it's not. I'm just not into it.
I mean, it's just like your opinion, man.
But and they're still into it. You know, we go to now Disney, and they're everywhere. These, what do they call them? There's the stormtroopers.
Yeah, stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers. They're everywhere.
Yep, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So, but that's good to know because I really wanted to see, because, I mean, there's so much with James Earl Jones, and this was, I mean, in my opinion, it's probably the best made Star Wars film when it comes to story and the developments of it. It's the best kind of film that they've come out with, in my opinion. So, you know, I really wanted to talk about what you remember about it.
I just remember that there were long lines, and they, you know, they put it forth a lot of effort. And I think it was only 3 years in between the first one.
Yeah. I think it was, because they kind of didn't plan on it, but the first one did so well, they wanted to kick off the sequels sooner than later.
It was a big ordeal, and there was big long lines all over the country.
Nice. So next up?
Next up is The Return of the Pink Panther. Released May 21st, 1975, celebrating a 50th anniversary. Inspector Jacques Cousteau is put on the case when the Pink Panther diamond is stolen, with the Phantom's trademark glove the only clue. I love the Pink Panther because of Kato, you idiot. So my brother Davey and we adored these Pink Panther movies. We love Peter Sellers. This was our time of just laughing our what off. So we love this movie, The Return of the Pink Panther. It was great. When Steve Martin did the remake of it, it was nothing compared. Nothing. It was, so this was great to me. This was so funny. We never saw anything like this in our lives. We didn't know what to expect. When I went to see this in the theater when I was a young girl, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be like an animated movie about Pink Panther. So when I went to see it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So I ran home. I had to go to tell people and went and saw it 2 or 3 times. Because I kept finding something more funny.
You know, it feels like we're kind of missing out on the Pink Panther, the franchise, if you want to call it that. That's the trademark, the identity of it, because you don't really hear people talking about it anymore. I have vague memories of this movie. I remember watching it, and I liked it. I just don't remember pretty much any of the jokes, any of the
hilarious.
story. But I know it's super funny. It's like Monty Python levels of funny. It makes sense to take place in Europe, too. And I would love to see it again, just to be able to experience it again. But it does show to me that that's one of these pieces that it holds its own in its time frame, like where it takes place. And we don't talk about that much recently anymore. And maybe it's something that people should start bringing up again as inspiration for the future.
It's hilarious.
And it's celebrating 50 years this year. 50 years.
Yes, and no one's even talking about it. When Peter Sellers was such a great actor and comedian and incredible person as contributing. He was almost like Charlie Chaplin to me.
I was actually going to say that, in some ways that this is kind of like Chaplin, but except people don't talk really about their works as much. But it's very much kind of Chaplin-esque slapstick comedy, but with the flair of intelligence, with insight into what makes this comedy good. A lot of slapstick, a lot of silly moments, kind of like Naked Gun, but sophisticated Naked Gun.
Absolutely.
So, next up is Rambo, First Blood Part 2, released May 22nd, 1985, celebrating a 40th anniversary. John Rambo has been granted freedom by the U.S. government under the condition that he travel to Vietnam to prove that there are no more prisoners of war. After discovering there are still soldiers being held captive, he goes rogue and on the hunt to rescue them. So, I remember the first time I saw First Blood. I remember exactly where I was. It's an incredible movie. So, tell me about your experience watching this movie when it first came out.
I just thought that Sylvester Stallone looks really incredible. His body was so toned. He was so buff.
How does it match up to the wax figure that you saw at Potter's Wax Museum a couple years ago?
I didn't even think about that until now. I don't think there's anything like it.
I remember because I saw him all the time at night, and so I saw him.
I don't
all
even
the
remember
dark.
what he looked like in the. No, I just remember when I went to see him in this movie because I saw it fairly early on. My ex fiance boyfriend at the time was a big Sylvester Stallone fan, and it was a big release, and I had to go see it, and it was fairly violent, and I was scared to go see it because when I went and saw The Deer Hunter about Vietnam, I was scared to go see it. So it was, I had like almost post-traumatic syndrome,
Stress disorder.
yeah, stress disorder from it. Because I was scared they were going to have some really violent things with Vietnam. So I was scared to go see it. But he looked so good in it. He looked like he trained and trained and trained.
Would you say that this film made more of an impact locally than First Blood did when it came out? Was it more hyped up after people saw the first one, or?
Yes, it was more hyped up because nobody expected First Blood. That was a small movie. Nobody expected what First Blood did. Nobody knew what First Blood was going to do. It was all small film, and then when they went and saw it, they were like. Then it was talk of talk everywhere about you gotta go see First Blood. You gotta go see First Blood. But people were like, "What's First Blood?" And then it just went wild.
The ultimate example of word of mouth.
Yes. Everybody was like, "What's First Blood? What's First Blood?" Oh my God, it's Sylvester Stallone. He plays his Vietnam veteran. You got to go see it. And people were wanting to go see it again and again and again.
So people really piled up in the theaters to see this one because it was another one more First Blood.
Yes. And then, see, I feel that then Sylvester's, then Arnold Schwarzenegger wanted to have his type of big blockbusters about war and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Because then, like, you started seeing Commando, I love Commando. It's a great movie.
They had their rivalry starting.
Yeah, they had their rivalry starting to come
I don't know for sure, but I just remember that at this time, all of a sudden, they started... I mean, Schwarzenegger had his other movies, but then he started having his war movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because in one of Schwarzenegger's movies called Last Action Hero, it's a big parody of action movies where Arnold Schwarzenegger's character in a silly action movie goes to the real world, and then they end up this kid and him get transported into this character's world. And long story short, they go to a movie theater and they see, I think it's a movie theater, and they see a poster for the Terminator, but instead of Arnold, it's Sylvester Stallone, and they're like, What's Sylvester Stallone doing here? And it's like a big joke. It's so funny. It's just because you see him in full like leather jacket and everything.
Well, they really had rivalry, but they respect each other now. They've outgrown that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, especially you didn't see Escape Plan, but oh my God, I mean, Escape Plan was great seeing them together and working together. It's a great heist movie / escape movie. Anyway,
so our next film is A View to a Kill, released May 22nd, 1985. Another 1985, celebrating a 40th anniversary. This is Roger Moore's final film as James Bond, as he goes undercover to stop the KGB from stealing a valuable microchip capable of surviving a nuclear explosion. The plot thickens as he finds that Russia isn't the only one looking for this invaluable technology. I did go see this in the movie theater, but I haven't seen it probably since then.
Yeah, neither have I. I haven't seen this in, years. It's at least over a decade.
Roger Moore was the most sophisticated of all the James Bonds. Wasn't
he the second one right after Sean Connery, or am I mistaken?
He was the first one, I thought.
The first after Sean Connery. Okay.
He was very sophisticated.
Because, Sean Connery was Sean Connery.
He was very sophisticated. British Roger Moore. Mm. And
I want to take more time to watch more of the James Bond films to see like what would be my favorite James Bond, because I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan James Bond, so it's a whole different generation of it all too. But Roger Moore's your favorite?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, well, what would you say is your favorite then?
I think Sean Connery.
Why is that?
he was the first one I was ever exposed to as a little girl, and he just came across very manly. Very manly and very... He
gives off, to me, like, Gone with the Winds, Frankly, My Dear, I Don't Give a Damn kind of energy.
He just was very manly. I can't explain it. He just was... to me, he's really the real James Bond. None of the others were the real James Bond. He was my real James Bond because I was exposed to him at such a young age.
So was this movie... Because you saw... I mean... I don't know if you saw all the James Bond films in the movie theater, but you've seen the impact of the James Bond films when they come out in theaters. Was this one like a big impact, or was this just like middle of the road? People come to see it, and it's fine.
I don't think they knew this was going to be his last one. They don't tell you. Okay, this is going to be Roger Moore's last.
Well, nowadays they'll probably tell you, but maybe back then it was a different story.
No, they didn't. So you didn't know, but I think that tall African American lady is in it.
Yeah. She was great in it too because
she's very dominating.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot her name.
I forgot her name too.
Yeah, but she's in it. Anyway.
So next up is The Shining, released May 23rd, 1980, celebrating a 45th anniversary. Stanley Kubrick brings one of the greatest films of all time in this iconic adaptation of Stephen King's brilliant story about a haunted hotel and what it does to a single family as they look after it during a brutal winter season. So, I saw this film, I think it was like November last year, not too long ago.
But this wasn't your first time.
No, it was like my fourth time watching this movie.
But I saw it in the theaters when it came out.
So
with a lot of family and friends, and it was scary. It was scary. But I also laughed at it. It was scary, but I also laughed at it.
It was kind of silly at the same time.
Yeah, because I guess I was trying to get through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Because it was this film, if you've never seen it, is so it's chilling because of the way that he puts these the way that Kubrick sets up these shots, and that he really did transform the way that people looked at like horror films in my eyes. He completely takes over, and it's a whole new world of cinematic brilliance. This film to me shows off. Look, I love 2001: Space Odyssey. I love his other films, but The Shining is to me the perfect example of Stanley Kubrick at his absolute best, where it's still talked about. It's one of the best Stephen King stories, if not the best Stephen King adaptation of all time. And I say it's one of the greatest films of all time because to me it is one of the greatest films of all time. It's very few people can pull off such a strange idea because it starts simply, but it really expands, and it really makes it something where like he knows how to make a ghost story really work for everybody. You know, not for everybody, all ages, but everybody who may or may not be into horror films.
I like that Jared Leto did the kill part of his video, of his music video, as an
homage.
Yeah. And
it was a great put together one too.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to really even pay that kind of homage and attention unless you really know what you're doing with it too. So when it did come out in theaters, who did you see it with?
I told you I saw it with a bunch of family and friends.
Okay.
A lot of my family went. We drove to Gainesville. So
what was probably like the big? How many gasp moments were there, and which one really stood out to you from your memories of seeing this film in theaters? Because there's a lot of like moments in that movie if you see it for the first time. When he was about to kill his wife, and he goes and puts his head through the door and says, "Here's Johnny." That was the biggest. That was the biggest. What were people's reactions? Were they laughing or were they excited? They started laughing when he said, "Here's Johnny." Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That people were laughing. They were, everybody went crazy at that moment. Mm-hmm. Okay, went crazy at that moment because you're scared to death. And she's screaming and screaming and screaming, and then he says, "Here's Johnny." It's so out of nowhere that you don't expect it, and when all that, it kind of breaks the tension a little bit before it stays in that tension too. And we went during Halloween. Mm-hmm. It was months later. See, it says it's released in May. We went during Halloween. So they must have re-released it around Halloween time for people to. Yes, it was in the theaters for months and months, and I'll never forget. It was cold at Halloween when we went. So it was perfect. It was very cold. It was during Halloween season, and we were freezing. What was your reaction seeing that famous shot of the kid riding the tricycle, and then he turns and sees the two twins right there. And
oh yeah, that's when I got really creeped out. And I remember my boyfriend at the time, he grabbed, I grabbed him and he grabbed me, and we were like freaking out.
So I really wanted to get your perspective of it, because man, I wish there's a few times where I wish I would be in a different time era, and this is one of those moments because it's so iconic, and it's something that you'll never be able to get back again. So, all right, it's your turn.
So, another film released May 23rd, 2003, celebrating a 22nd anniversary. Bruce is down on his luck.
You didn't say the name of the movie.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Bruce Almighty, released May 23rd, 2003, celebrating a 22nd anniversary. Bruce is down on his luck with his job, relationship, and life in general until God himself appears. And God himself was Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
He is given the opportunity to take over the role of God as he tries to manage being the omnipotent power of the universe and turns his life around. So Bruce Almighty was Jim Carrey, of course.
Yes. And yeah, like you said, Morgan Freeman was God, and he was so great. Like, people could have easily criticized this movie for whoever they chose, but Morgan Freeman was the best choice. I do remember seeing this in movie theaters, and I asked you about this, obviously off podcast, but what was the thing that you told me earlier that made me start laughing when we were talking about it? Like, what was my reaction from your point of view?
Well, you were shocked because you loved Jim Carrey tremendously.
Yeah, I was 9 years old when this came out.
Yeah, you're about to turn 10.
Yeah, but I was going to turn 10 next year. So
you just turned 9.
Yeah, I just turned 9. So it was a whole new experience for me. And this movie is not exactly for 9-year-olds. It's kind of more for at least teenagers.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to, because when they talked about it, they didn't say how risque it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you loved the film, but I was shocked that it had some risque scenes in it.
And you told me I come out of that theater and I looked like I'd just seen a dirty movie.
No, I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
No,
you said dirty movie specifically.
No, you had made comments that later, after we went home and talked about it, that you were shocked by some of the scenes in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at them now as an adult, it's definitely there. But as a 9-year-old, it would completely shock you. You'd think you'd seen something really like, oh my gosh, should I be watching
Jennifer
that?
Aniston was mentioning her chest.
Yeah, and there was a couple scenes that were focusing on just hinting at sex life or lack thereof too. But and all in all, it's really not a bad movie when it comes to that. It's just adult comedy kind of humor.
But we liked it also because they had scenes from Niagara Falls, and we had been to Niagara Falls and experienced Maids in the Mist.
Mm-hmm.
And so you loved it too, that you had experienced Maids in the Mist.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
but this movie is so funny. It's so creative. It's such a great idea. It's not one of Jim Carrey's best movies, but he's once again, he shows off his absolute best of creativity. Steve Carell's in it. He plays his rival newscaster.
But they didn't show that part before we went to see it. The commercials for the movie did not push Steve Carell. Mm-hmm. But when you go to see the movie, Steve Carell is
hilarious.
And they didn't show that it was a risque film.
They got to get people in there. But how do you feel about the movie?
We both loved it.
No, but how do you feel about as years gone by? You said
I still love that movie. Mm-hmm. I still love that movie.
Would you say it's one of his top 5 best Jim Carrey movies?
I love most of Jim Carrey movies, so I look at his movies like I'm looking at an artist, mm-hmm. because he approaches them so wonderfully. So I really approach him differently, just like I did Andy Kaufman and other great actors.
Who also, he played Man on the Moon. It's a funny thoughts on that one too. Yeah, I love the movie. I think it's great, and I look forward to seeing it again because I haven't seen it in a while. But it's just a really good creative movie. I really love the way they approach the whole God situation, and that it may not be as easy as you think it is playing somebody with so much power when there's a lot more that it's literally with great power comes great with responsibility if it was a movie. That's all it's about. And it was really well done. I really liked, especially the scene where he gets summoned to heaven, and he gets the file cabinet full of all of the words he's ever said and all the curse words he's ever said, and it pulls out. I just thought it was great. There's so many little funny scenes.
There's some great things that it was very creative.
Absolutely. Last but not least is a film that I barely have any memories of. Totally different genre. Is Braveheart, released May 24th. Happy birthday, 1995. Celebrating a 30th anniversary, Scottish warrior William Wallace leads his countrymen in a rebellion to free his homeland from the tyranny of King Edward I of England. Didn't you say you saw this movie when it came out in theaters?
My brother took me.
Davey.
He was insistent. It was a birthday gift.
Yes, happy birthday. I'm going to traumatize you today.
I was very traumatized.
Yes.
I was very traumatized. I don't think I've ever seen the movie since.
I don't blame you. It's not exactly a fun movie to watch.
I don't think I've seen it since, and I was traumatized from that film.
Did people talk about it a lot after it came out?
Yeah, but before. It was a big movie to go see. Big movie to go see. Big movie to go see. And Davey wanted to take me to go see that movie.
It sounds like he didn't want to take it for your birthday. He wanted to use it as an excuse to go see it himself.
No. He wanted to take me. He thought that I'd enjoy... I used to love Lethal Weapon and stuff. And so he wanted to take me to go see,
Braveheart.
And he thought... Because I loved Highlander, okay? I loved Highlander. So he thought...
It's got swords and it's got Mel Gibson. She'll like both of those things. And look what happened. I never really saw it. I know of it. I've seen scenes of it. I've never seen it from beginning to end. I've never been old enough, and by the time I was old enough, I didn't really care enough to see it.
Maybe he was trying to hold me during the film because I was so upset.
One day I'll see it. It's not on my big I gotta see Braveheart to-do list, but one day I'll see it. So that's all the films that we didn't have a chance to see this week, but the rest of the films we saw this week were quite something else. First, let's talk about Hot Shots Part Deux. I'm going to call it Part 2 from now on because Part Deux makes me sound like a chump. So this is a parody of Rambo, First Blood, and all these action movies that come out throughout the years. It was released on May 21st, 1993. It was directed by Jim Abrahams, who did Airplane, which is one of the greatest parody movies of all time. This is just a parody of epic proportions. It pokes fun at all these big action adventures of the 1980s. And if you like Rambo, if you like Predator, if you like all these kind of action movies that came out in the 80s, you have to. And I mean, you have to see Hot Shots Part 2.
Charlie Sheen is the star.
He's the Rambo affiliate. He's the Rambo counterpart, essentially. And he is so good. He actually looks great in the movie, too. And he's fantastic in it. Absolutely excellent in it. So this had a budget of $25 million. It made $133 million at the box office, and that's 1993. That's
almost 134.
It's tons of money. So for critics who came out and saw the film, Siskel and Ebert, they really liked the film, but they've seen parody movies before. It came to the point where they've said, look, these movies are critic-proof. No matter what you say about them, you can't criticize them because either you like the movie or you don't. But they said they liked the movie. And Gene Siskel really pointed out that he really likes that every comedic bit to its entirety had the envelope pushed so that every ounce of comedy was squeezed out of every scene. And I completely agree with it. This movie is a gut-busting, laugh every 30 seconds, if not even sooner,
you were
experience.
Turning beet red every minute upon minute.
Yep.
You were laughing your you-know-what off.
I've seen so many of these action movies. There's so many good bits in this. It's absolutely hilarious. There's so many good jokes. My favorite joke is the chicken joke, which you know what I'm talking about. I absolutely lost it at that chicken joke, where he runs out of arrows near the end of the movie because he's playing Rambo, and then he sees a nearby chicken. He grabs the chicken, and he turns it into an arrow by pulling it, and you see the chicken's face is like this stupid little prop. It's this fake, stupid plastic thing, and it looks like this chicken looks absolutely mortified.
That wasn't the funniest. There's just so much funny.
I'm still laughing at it. It's still so...
There's more funny
And
stuff.
he shoots this chicken through this guy. It goes right through him, but it's the funniest thing in the world.
There's all kinds of funny stuff. There's just I can't even remember all the. It's so funny that you can't even remember all the.
I mean, you start laughing. It's like the first joke of the movie is they're on a typewriter and they're doing a typewriting thing while they're playing a scene of an ocean in the background, like making fun of those
submarine,
like submarine summary synopsis ports, and the guy can't type assassinate. He keeps misspelling it.
Yeah, he keeps.
So it goes back and says kill a guy.
It's to assassinate.
The first joke, it already gets you because you know exactly what to get out of it. It's so funny.
Oh my god!
So when this movie came out, tell me about when you saw it.
Okay, all I remember is that Dino said we all got to go see this movie.
It's your youngest brother.
Yes, Dino said we all have to go see this movie, and he made Roxy and I go, and he said we gotta laugh, and just laugh.
This is absolutely Dino's kind of thing.
Yeah, and so we all had to go and see this movie, and we all laughed. We knew we were going to be laughing, and we laughed and laughed and laughed, and we laughed about it for days, and told everybody about how funny the movie was.
Did anybody really talk about the film that much? Was it pushed about?
No, but no. It was our kind of humor because we loved Airplane and we loved those kind of films.
And this was written by Jim Abrahams too, who still did Airplane, and Pam Proft, who did Police Academy. So this was
our kind of humor, though.
Yes, exactly.
This is what we love. So, but you have to enjoy it.
So how many stars would you give this movie out of 5 after seeing it, recently? After seeing it for so long ago, what would you give it now?
Well, for that kind of film, I mean, I'd give it a 4, but that's just me, because I like that kind of humor. It's just hilarious. And I thought, and I couldn't think about that girl. There was this girl in it. For the longest time, who is she? Is she? And she played in Rain Man. She played in Rain Man.
That's right.
It was like driving me crazy. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to give it 5, but at the same time, I kind of want to give it 5 stars because to me, it's like the perfect parody movie. You can't really there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing you could fix. It's a comedy. It's making fun of everything. So I would give it 5 stars because there's nothing wrong with it per se. The biggest movies, 1993 was such a big year for movies. The top 3 movies were Jurassic Park, Mrs. Doubtfire, and The Fugitive. So, this was a big year to compete with. But
it's just a farce.
It's just a fun, experience to go see. And it absolutely deserves to be talked about more and shown more.
It was hilarious.
So, next up, we saw Far and Away. This is a complete opposite kind of movie. It was released on May 22nd, 1992. Directed by Ron Howard. God, who doesn't know who Ron Howard is and what he's done? And it was written by Bob Dolman, who did a lot of things, but he really stood out as a writer for WKRP in Cincinnati, one of your favorite sitcoms. Mm. So he writes a serious story. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman play Irish immigrants, and they're seeking their fortune in 1890s America, eventually taking part in a famous land run of 1893, where a bunch of people on horses end up taking their own little flags and pushing them through the dirt to create their own spots of land to colonize on their own.
On horses. They're settlers.
Yeah, they're settlers.
They're settlers.
But it's about their journey.
In the U.S.
It's about their journey of coming from Ireland to America.
And settling in America.
So this is like I think it's like a 5-year-long journey, I believe, from my memory.
I don't remember.
I think it's like 5 years of time.
You know what? They don't... That's what was your main complaint.
Yes, it was.
That was your main complaint.
They really do not properly do a timeline. At one point they say it's August 1892, and then they say several months have gone by, and then it's like 2 months have gone by. It's not several months, it's 2 months.
And a lot of things happen, and it doesn't make any sense, the timeline.
No.
And so it was driving Sword crazy.
It really was driving me crazy. It really was. But this is the first time I saw this movie. Did you see this movie in theaters?
No.
So when did you first see this movie?
I saw it when it was released on video.
So probably like a year or a little bit less or a little bit more after it came out in theaters.
Yeah.
So, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, they're not your favorite actors to watch. But,
no, but this
is when they were married,
but I remember,
right?
Or they were together. I'm not sure if they were married yet. But I remember when it was a big talk about this movie, and I was too busy at the time. I was busy doing other stuff. So, but it was a big deal that this movie came out, and they all were talking about them doing this movie. I think this may have even been their first movie to like that they collaborated together doing this movie. The other movie that they did together, it wasn't they collaborated. They met on that movie.
Do you think they really had good chemistry in this movie?
It was okay. But my mother loved this movie. My mother loved this movie. And after watching this movie all these years later, I'm thinking,
why did she like this movie?
Why did she like this movie?
I think she had a secret crush on Tom Cruise and never told you.
I think she really did like Tom Cruise. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Look,
he's a weirdo and outside on the screen, but I've got to say, he's a great actor. I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
I think she liked that, it showed the overcoming a lot of things in life. Mm-hmm. She understood about the Irish having to overcome a lot when they came over to America, and they went against a lot of things. They were discriminated against.
This is a long movie too. It's 2.5 hours. It's an epic of its own proportions, and I think Ron Howard did a great job with the camera work and putting it together.
Yeah, I think that she liked some of that too.
Yeah,
and so my mother appreciated that.
So Gene Siskel really enjoyed the performances of Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, but he put down the film saying that it was an Irish stereotyped kind of film because all they do is fight and drink, and he got pretty pissed about it when he was talking about it on the Siskel and Ebert show. And Ebert also said the same thing, but he was also pointing out, and I thought this was interesting, he was talking about how from a religious standpoint he was even more upset because he said that, one's a Catholic, the other's a Protestant, they would never get together. It goes against everything they stand for, and that they wouldn't be able to stand each other, let alone be in the same room together. And he was really, he was adamantly upset about that.
There were some things that did not make any sense. That did not ring home at all.
And they had some very stereotypical things, like they start getting money and they start doing well, and then they lose all the money. And it's I've seen this 1,000 times before. You gotta know better than this. I'm sick of those we're gonna be successful, we're gonna get everything we want, and then we lose it all because we decided to do one risky, stupid thing. It's it's stupid. It's all stupid. But in terms of the film itself, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine. Nothing really stands out to me that I loved, really. I thought it was a good well-directed film. I thought Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise did fine. There were some things I just didn't agree with on what some of the characters would do. Very cliched at times. But, I felt the chemistry was there, at least in moments. And I like the end of the movie where it brings it all together. I thought it was very cool that they did all that too. I didn't suffer watching this. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time. Although at times it really felt like, God, how much longer is this movie going to be?
It showed me how much she has changed.
Nicole Kidman?
Yeah. Physically.
Yeah.
Physically, she has changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Shockingly.
I can see that for sure. I would probably give this movie, and I'm being a little generous here, but I'd probably give it 2.5. I'd probably see it one more time, but never see it again. It's nothing special to me.
I'd give it a 3.
Good. Well, moving on. Next up, we're not going to take too long talking about this movie, but it's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas because we didn't really enjoy watching it.
I'm scared, and I'm...
I'm jealous that I didn't watch 2 hours or something.
Scared, fear. I'm scared to talk about this movie now.
Yeah. So this is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It was released May 22nd, 1998. This was directed by Terry Gilliam, who was mainly the animator for animated portions of Monty Python and Flying Circus.
He's the American.
Yes, but he also wrote this film along with some other people as well. This was kind of a passion project for him, and he really wanted to adapt this book that was inspired by real stories that happened in Las Vegas as a journalist. It's about 2 journalists with a teetering view on ethics in the workplace as they go to Las
70s.
In the early 70s, thank you. As they go to Las Vegas to write one story after another and get involved in suspicious people, psychedelic drugs, and the consequences of their own actions. Johnny Depp and Benicio del Toro are the 2 stars of the film. Johnny Depp plays the journalist, and then Benicio del Toro plays his lawyer. And these are real people. They're based on real people. And I don't know really much of history about them and who they are, and you don't either, really, from when we were talking about this. But I'm looking at this from a simply film-based point of view. The only thing I could really say that I really thought was impressive was I thought some of the set design and production design was great.
The camera work was fantastic.
Yes, and I mean, I gotta say, I love Johnny Depp in this. He really
does
played,
the narration.
He does the narration, and I loved his character work where he was acting and the way he was moving around doing his body acting was so impressive. I was super impressed. He really did look like you weren't watching a film. Looks like you were watching this craziness happen in real time. I was super impressed with it.
Well, he has to describe how it feels to be on psychedelics.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was very impressive.
And alcohol at the same time, and other drugs. Because they do all kinds of different drugs.
They do everything.
They do all kinds of drugs.
Everything underneath the sun.
It's pretty scary. It is pretty scary. And I don't want to see that movie ever again. And
this is your first time seeing it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I never heard of it even.
It was my first time seeing it too.
I mean, I think I heard of it, but I never wanted to see it. But I didn't know what it was about, really. Now I know what it's about, and I think at the time when I heard about it, I didn't want to see it then, and I wish I'd. Now I'm glad I saw it, but it was.
But that way you could say that like you got an experience that you would have never experienced.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's really.
It's just my biggest thing with it is that it kind of does a cardinal sin. Not a cardinal sin. I'm going to say this. It's just it's an unending loop with no progression. Like there's no like message at the end of the film. There's nothing the characters learn like that helps them move on. There's no proper journey.
I don't know.
Nothing.
After we learned that what these two main actors did to do the roles makes you.
It's weird. It's like Johnny Depp. He would. He ended up getting the author and who was the person he was based on, and he spent time with him for 4 months. Lived in his house for 4 months to develop this character, and he read his journals and whatnot.
He even took his clothes.
Yeah, he actually used his clothes and
the movie.
Yes, in the movie. So those were his real clothes in the movie to really immerse himself in it. And then we have Benicio del Toro.
He gained 45 pounds.
He had this big belly and he gained 40 pounds. And
45.
He reportedly ate 16 donuts a day.
Which is very, very unsafe.
Who can eat 16 donuts in a day? Well, a Benicio del Toro, apparently. But it's ridiculous. Like, come on. You gotta go through all that just to have a stomach, and there was no purpose to him having a belly. Why would you do this to yourself? I just thought it was stupid. Yeah, I couldn't. It's one of those movies where you got to see once and you'll never see it again. Props to the people who like it. There is a lot to appreciate as a filmmaker, but God, it was a slog to sit through. I would give it 1.5 stars, and I got to be generous with that. Honestly, I couldn't stand watching this movie.
I'd give it 2 because of the film work. The film work was impeccable.
It was.
There were some really good special effects that I was shocked by. It made it look like it was animated.
Yeah,
and it wasn't. How Terry Gilliam did some things was shocking.
It is. It's not like there's no value. This is really a perfect film for film students and people who are interested in filmmaking to really dissect and analyze. But as a average film-going experience, it's nothing that you're going to really. The
story doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It shows people killing themselves practically with drugs and alcohol, and it's just.
Yeah. And finally, we kind of thought the same way as other people did too. Roger Ebert did criticize the film, saying I think he gave it a thumbs down, but he said that his big thing was that it was an unending loop with no progression. Nothing was coming to, and there's nothing. And Gene Siskel, he appreciated it more because he thought it was a great film that showed a commentary on American values and capitalism in Las Vegas. And that is something I want to give him credit for because he is right. It really does show you the twisted side of capitalism and American values in a world like Las Vegas.
See, and that's one place, and people are probably going to be upset for me saying this. I don't see any value in Las Vegas. I don't. People say, "Oh, you haven't been to the good shows." Well, I guess when I've gone there, I haven't been to the fancy big shows, but because I go there and I go to like trade shows to work and things like that. But it's a place of a lot of drinking, gambling. People waste their lives, and if you see the history of Las Vegas, people have died because of Las Vegas, and all these shows show just drugs and drinking and
gambling,
and debauchery.
Mm-hmm. So the last film we saw, which we enjoyed a lot more, it was Only the Lonely. It was released on May 24th, 1991, another birthday release. And it was directed by Chris Columbus, who directed Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It was also written by him, too. So this is obviously some sort of passion project. So John Candy plays Danny Muldoon. He's a 38-year-old police officer who takes care of his mother, Rose.
I think they take care of each other.
They do.
Okay, it's not just him taking care of his mother.
And Rose is played by Maureen O'Hara.
Famous actress.
Mm-hmm.
Famous actress. She was in Miracle on 34th Street. She played in lots of films with John Wayne in the 30s. She was a very, very famous actress.
Yep, he falls in love with Teresa, played by Ali Sheedy. She was the basket case in Breakfast Club and a whole bunch of other stuff, too, since then. As they grow more attached, Danny has to decide...
She was part of the Brat Pack.
Right.
Ali Sheedy.
As they grow more attached, Danny has to decide what he wants in love and life when his family and friends begin to make decisions on his future for him. So I could not find out what the budget was for this movie, but it made $25 million in the box office.
I want to say this. You had said that Maureen O'Sullivan came out
O'Hara.
Maureen O'Hara came out of retirement.
Yep,
after being not in a film for 20 years.
Yep, that's what it was said, is that she, this was written kind of for her, and they asked her to come do it, and she said she would consider it if she got to meet who would play her son, which was John Candy. So after she met him for the first time, she said she'd do it, because the chemistry was obviously there between those two. So she really wanted to make sure that if I was going to come out of retirement, I want to make sure that it would fit and it would be a good script. Because she liked the script, but based on who the son was going to be, it was going to be an issue. But obviously they played well together. She ends up choosing to do the film. And this is a great film that she's in. It's a new movie I've never really heard of or understood until you mentioned it after we were going through our list about what films came out each year. And
I saw this film in the theaters. I was looking forward to it because I love Maureen O'Hara. So what's so weird is that when I saw this film, when it first came out, I didn't think her behavior was so harsh back then. But when I saw it with you recently, I thought her behavior was incredibly harsh. I mean, back then I thought it was harsh, but not so harsh.
She plays like a really rude, very prejudiced woman, and it's New York, isn't it? Or is it Boston? Boston.
No, is it Boston?
No, hold on, I gotta look this up. Dang it! Of course, the one time.
No, I think they're in Chicago. Wrigley.
Chicago.
It's Chicago.
So yeah, she plays a really rude lady, but she's a product of the times, of her times.
Yeah, but let me explain.
Mm-hmm.
At the time when I saw it, 91, I didn't think that she was that rude. I didn't think she was that. I thought that that's just part of her personality.
Well, her personality's rude.
But I thought it was like, oh, she's just from the old country, like that's their Irish behavior. Mm-hmm. But now, oh no, oh no, it's not. It's kind of cute to see it back then. Now, oh no, she's absolutely rude. Absolutely. It's how 34 years makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was looking through this when I was trying to figure out the synopsis of it. Sometimes I'll just rip it off of IMDb or something, but other times I'll write the synopsis myself. This one I wrote myself because after seeing the movie especially, the synopsis doesn't properly explain what the movie's about. So on Wikipedia and other places it says that his mother wants him all to herself. And that's not really true. She's just really, 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 really picky about who she wants him to end up being with.
She wants him to be with the same
her version of like
the same lineage.
Yeah, the same lineage essentially. And he chooses to be with Ali Sheedy, even though she's Sicilian. Like she's just an Italian, simple as that. And
well, Sicilian's different.
Okay.
Okay, that's from Sicily. Okay, it's an island off of Italy. So
this just shows product of the times. I don't care. You're from Italy. Who cares?
No,
I wouldn't care about these things.
Okay. They're known to be from the mafia. Okay.
Okay.
They're known to be from the mafia.
Okay. And then because she's a mortuary beautician, so she puts makeup on the corpses before they put them out and does the viewings. Put it out for the viewings and whatnot.
Put them out. You like to put them out to pasture.
Well, yeah, literally. No, but the point I was trying to make is that they're trying to make it like the mother is controlling him. It's like that's not really true. In reality,
but she does want to control him
in a way. But no, hear me out. The rest of his family wants to control him. His brother, controls him too.
Yes,
because after he says, he tells his brother, who's like I think a mayor or something. He's some kind of big. What is he? A lawyer. He's a big time lawyer.
A mayor.
And he goes to him and he says, hey, why don't we just move Mom down to Florida? Like, she needs to be out and she needs to have a new change of space.
Because it's so cold in Chicago.
Right. And he's thinking, like, maybe I should go, too. I want to do something. But she needs to be somewhere else because she's in her same old routine. He's trying to just live his life here. But at the same time, feels bad for her. He doesn't want to leave her, but at the same time, he's kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place. And then, when he meets this girl and he starts to really they fall for each other. He wants to stay in Chicago now. And his brother says, you know what? You're right. I want you both to move to Florida. And he says, that's not your decision to make. Like, you can move her to Florida, but I'm not leaving. He says, no, you're going to leave with her and take care of her. And he says, you can't tell me what to do. This is my life to live. And it's really about his family trying to control him. It's about his friends trying to control him because his best friend, played by Jim Belushi, is also telling him what he should and shouldn't do with his dating life.
It's like he's been maneuvered all his life.
Yes,
and it's an interesting title.
Only the Lonely. It's unique. It is.
And then what's really a beautiful sub character is Anthony Quinn, and he plays the neighbor who's Greek, and he's a really sweet older man that has a crush on her.
The mother, yeah, Maureen O'Hara, and he's interested in her, but she can't stand it because he's a Greek. So really,
she really likes him.
Yeah, but she starts warming up to him because he's so like insistent and in his old ways.
She really likes him, but she doesn't want anybody to know. But she really, and everybody knows that she really likes him. So it's really a sweet story.
It's a great story. It really is. It stands the test of time. It's so well written and it's so well put together. It's one of those films where it's like it's something that people need to see more often and know about more often.
But it's shocked to me that I felt that she wasn't that harsh.
You didn't feel that she was that harsh when you were younger?
34 years, yeah.
Nowadays, you're like, oh my God, this lady.
Oh my gosh, yes. She's pretty harsh. But I think it's because I was used to people being harsh back then.
So people, times change and everything like that too. But I thought, so when this movie came out, you saw it for the first time and you really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was looking forward to, I remember them doing interviews with her and with John Candy, and I was looking forward to seeing it because I wanted to see, I loved Maureen O'Hara. She's one of my favorite actresses, and I couldn't wait to see it. So I went to the movies to see it.
So what, after all this then, what would you say, like, did you try showing anybody else the film after it came out? Did you, did anybody talk about that much or anything like that?
No, it was a sleeper, as they called him. It was a sleeper, so nobody talked about it. My sister and I, Roxy and I, went and saw it. And we made jokes about the film because of who it reminded us of.
They who shall not be named. But I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a very well put together film, and it's a good old fashioned, great family movie. Something that you should definitely see as you get older and start to see more things. And I highly recommend seeing it. It really is great. You can't find it on streaming as easily, so it might be a little bit harder to watch, to look for in the first place. But if you have a chance to, definitely do so. I have a couple inconsistencies about it. I think there are a couple things that I feel like they could have been differently or fixed. So, but with all that said, I think it was a really well done film, and it deserves to be talked about more. I'd give it 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I'd give it about a 4. A 4.
Yeah.
And it's because of John Candy and Maureen O'Hara.
Well, it had a lot of tough competition back then, too.
And Anthony Quinn. I loved him in it.
The films that came out that year were Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That was starring, what's his name?
Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner, thank you. And Beauty and the Beast. So it had some tough competition. But it really, to me, it stands the test of time. It was also produced by John Hughes. So it really does feel like a John Hughes movie. But with a back seat, comparatively. Because, like I said, Chris Columbus directed and wrote this
John
film.
Candy was impeccable in it, and so was Maureen O'Hara.
Absolutely.
And she played a harsh woman on purpose. I mean, she did her job.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She was supposed to.
And the ending of the movie is even better. It's a great ending of the movie too, because it's very set in realistic scenarios, and it's really very realistic about how people think and how they act. John Candy is the perfect person to play it, and I'm very glad I saw it.
Me too.
So that was what we have for this week. So with the summer season starting, we're gonna have a lot more interesting and exciting and crazy blockbusters. So I'm looking
and films that you've probably never heard of.
Yep. So I cannot wait to see what the summer season brings us. But this was a great week for film, absolutely, and I look forward to talking about future films that come up throughout the summer season. So thank you all so much for listening. We look forward to seeing you next time, and thank you again.
Yeah, and thanks for all the happy birthday wishes.
Whether or not you're watching this or listening to this on your commute or just in your downtime, have a great evening. In case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.